Hello, hello. It's time for Fishing Friends. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fishing Friends with Danny and Gina. I'm Danny,
I'm Gina.
and this is going to be a good one. At least I think so. I don't know. We shall see.
We shall
But
see.
man, here it is officially summer now here in the northern hemisphere,
Oh my god, yes it is. I hate it.
and it is definitely summer here in Missouri. It is
I hate
hot,
it.
hot, hot. I do not like it either. But man, I've had to be like out there like watering my garden like crazy, and getting around with you know a little spray hose here, and then a bucket on other places. It takes a while to get around to get into my yard. I mean, if you look at the background, you can see all these different plants in just such a small area, and that's just looking in one direction behind the pond. Like there's stuff all over, and then I got my front yard and all that too. But man, it's just like stupid hot, and it's like muggy, humid as well. But I went ahead and I followed James B's advice, and I ordered one of those like sprinklers that uh has like a motion sensor to detect like cats and deer and whatever else to get them to go away. Um and I set it up I think yesterday is when I got it, and I set it up, and I don't know. I don't know really how I feel about it, because it's like it kind of works, but then like also I was kind of having trouble. Like sometimes I was sitting there walking out and dancing, and it wasn't going off. So I don't know. I was having trouble with the sensor, and then also I just don't know how I feel about having my hose just turned on like all the time, or even just like
Yeah,
overnight, like just for the sake of having the sprinkler,
because
you
that's how
know.
you get busted hoses.
Well, that, and just like, the water bill just being even higher than it already is, having, like 10 fish tanks and whatever else. So, like, friggin', it is a nice, sprinkler though. Like, it has some good control on direction, and it has some good distance on the spray as well. So, I can use it to just like water my garden and like the area over the pond. So I can pretty much cover that whole area that you see in the screen, uh, in just with the sprinkler. And so that's really nice. So that'll kind of save me some time. I'll just like turn on that in the backyard and just have that going while I'm getting ready for work and all that stuff. And then just like quick do some stuff out in the front yard, and then hop on my way. That'll save me some time.
Yeah, let me look at my smartwatch, my new smartwatch, really quick. So the
Oh
high
yeah.
today was 94. It is currently 88, and the low tonight is 76. Yeah,
New smartwatch, Miss
I
Fancy
did.
Fancy.
No,
Yeah.
okay, hold on, let me take it off. I can't. I can't. That's awkward.
Yeah.
I'll have to do my password, I think. But yeah, so oh
Oh, you changed that bracelet, that band quick.
yeah, so it's a quick change, but yeah. So
Because
there's my little weather
right
app.
before the stream, it was a green silicone
Yeah, it was
band,
a green
and
silicone
I
band.
didn't see her change it. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, that
I
watch is
don't
different.
have it set to stay lit up for only like 10 seconds to save on
Yeah.
battery. Yeah, there's my little weather app. And then you can scroll down. Oh, here, let me do this. You can scroll up and down. Oh no! Come back. baby, come back.
You accidentally pushed the button.
I guess, yeah. So there's the little weather app, and you can use the dial to scroll. But yeah, that's the day. So the high, current, low, UV index, and then it'll do the hourly, and then the
Nice.
daily. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. It didn't work at first, so I was very disappointed with the watch. I was like, oh man, the weather is like one of like the for sure things I want to be able to quick check on my smartwatch. Like,
Yeah, it just
not
took
even weather.
time calibrating all that probably.
But apparently there was like a bug, and it just had an update, and I guess it fixed the bug. So
Okay. There you go.
weather.
Well, let's go ahead and take a second to say hi to some people. Let's see. We got Silver Creek's Wildlife here. What's up, Tommy? Tommy Fourfinger. And Eric Wyrock is here.
I didn't even give you a chance to do like the clip. The what did we buy this week?
No, it's okay. I totally skipped it because we jumped right into it right away.
This is what I got for myself for Father's Day.
I might do it again in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I did buy some. No, whatever else. I'll talk about it later anyway.
Okay.
But let's see. Eric Wyrox, Silver Creek Wildlife, Big Steve's Glassbox Creations is here
Big
too.
Steve.
What's up, Big Steve? Mark Sturlson, how you doing, Mark? It's stupid hot here in Maryland. Oh, I bet it is up there too. The last day of the heatness here. Yeah, I heard it's supposed to like potentially rain or whatever, but I don't know. It's still just really hot. Hey y'all, I was over on Danny's side. Yeah, don't forget, we're streaming on both of our channels, so hit the like button. Jump over to the other side via the description on either channel, and then smash the like button as well. Send out the notifications to all the different people.
Yeah.
Vinosky's here. How you doing,
Vinosky?
And then we got some other people here that are lurking as well. But hey, awesome that everybody's here. But yeah, the other thing I was going to say that I bought myself a ceiling fan because the ceiling fan out in my my living room had gone out a little bit ago, and I was just kind of sitting there with the ceiling fan that didn't work because it was like, I don't know, probably I want to say 1995 technology in the ceiling fan, and it had a remote. And so there was no like pull chain or anything for the ceiling fan. It was all controlled by the remote. So it was working fine. And then I had like a power outage not too long ago. And after that, like I couldn't get it to turn back on. And so I thought, well, maybe the remote batteries went out. And so I changed the battery on the remote and it still wouldn't work. So either something in the remote went out or with the last power outage, something with the fan went out. But either way, the fan didn't work. And that was like my main like light source out in my living room when I needed to like get something done that I really need to like focus on, like because it would like really brighten up the room. I have like a little lamp in the corner for like ambient light, but when I need to like, you know, build a Lego set or something or whatever out there that I need to really see what I'm doing, that's what the ceiling fan light is for. And so I went and bought one of those. I bought another one with a remote because I did like having the remote. And also, I don't know where, like, there's no light switch or whatever that's connected to that ceiling fan. So, it's either just like on all the time, or I guess I have to do all the things with the pull chains all the time. So I just like having the remote anyway. And so I installed my own ceiling fan today.
Nice.
So pretty accomplished by that. I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult than it was.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy.
That's good.
I was nervous though that I was going to like not find the right breaker and freaking like electrocute myself here alone in my house.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always scary.
Because the breakers are kind of connected in weird ways. It's like, yeah, the breaker that was connected to the ceiling fan in my living room was the same breaker that was connected to like my microwave, which was weird. But then like the kitchen has another breaker on like the other side that also does the same wall that like my TV is on.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not. It's like which one for sure does the ceiling fan, and which one does the kitchen, and whatever else. So yeah, I didn't want to just go turning all my switches off. So luckily they did have them labeled, and I picked the right one. So I'm good.
Good. Good. Good. Good.
Yep. Ah.
Sorry, I'm searching for power strip. Yeah, sorry. Surge protector power strips right now because I just realized whenever I was setting up the shrimp rack that we didn't really have an extra one.
Oh.
I had to rearrange some cords around the house, and I got it pretty well figured out. But I saw this one; it's like a block. So it's a brick, but it's got 4 regular outlets on the top, 2 on each side, and then it's got the USBs and stuff on the front. I'm like, I kind of like that. Especially for the big brick things, like then you got lots of space versus just the traditional power strip where a brick will take up 2 slots.
Yeah. Interesting.
I might have to try that.
JJE Aquatics has joined us and has
JJE.
3G and Sabrina Gossett. So
Sabrina, hello again.
What's up, everybody? Freaking love you guys. Well, we freaking love you too.
Thank you. Was that Silver Creek?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
I got a couple little cucumbers already. A lot of the little cucumbers that started growing didn't like grow properly. They just like some of them just kind of died early while they were tiny, and other one I think one of them I accidentally left on too long, and then it just kind of burst open and stuff too. But
yeah,
it's kind of hard to tell with these little like gherkin cucumbers because they're they only get like this big, and then it's just like, all right, you got to pick them like right away.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping that cucumber plant would be growing better than it is. I'm kind of struggling with the cucumber plant. My tomatoes are getting good size, and the Cherokee purple is pushing out really nice because I topped that one, and the Sart Relays is like it's like getting really really tall versus like getting anything on the side. But I am kind of trimming off all those little sucker branches and stuff that are pointless, because you do want to get light down to the base of the plant as well, and nice aeration to prevent disease and all that stuff.
Right.
My ghost pepper plant is pretty small this year, but it is already producing peppers, which is good because they do take a good long time to fully ripen and all that.
Good.
If the cucumbers don't develop, they were not pollen. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Micah's peppers are small too. The other peppers are going nuts. Yeah. I don't have any other peppers this year. One year, when I was still living at a rental house, I made like a well, it was supposed to be like a raised bed, but I actually, made a base for it. But it was like, I don't know, like 2 foot by 2 foot box that was like probably a foot tall. And then I put like a Thai dragon pepper in there, and that pepper plant grew like super huge. It just was like covered in peppers. It was awesome.
Good.
Your keys, do you have squash bugs on? No, I do not. I know what the evil gray beetles look like. Yeah, no squash bugs. I don't have any of those like Japanese beetles on any of my stuff either. Luckily, at least not anytime that I'm out there looking at it. My blackberries are starting to ripen up now.
Oh, good.
Which is nice. The blackberry season.
Yeah, all mine got 8. I didn't get any off mine.
Oh, on your black raspberries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ate a good amount, and then I also had I got like probably about a handful of black ones and some gold ones in there too. And I have those in the fridge with some sugar that I coated them in, and I'm making a syrup out of those. And that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Though I am going to have to I am gonna have to like cook it or whatever after all, even though I didn't think I was going to, because what I tried to do was I read about this thing or heard about, like, saw some videos online or whatever about what to do to make like an easy syrup. And so first things first is I took all the berries and I kind of soaked them in water with a little bit of vinegar to kind of kill off anything and to hopefully have like any bugs or whatever get off of them. And then I rinsed them all off and made sure that they were fully dry. And then I took the same weight of berries and sugar and put them in a jar and made sure that the berries were fully covered in sugar. And then you're supposed to just, put it in the fridge, and over time, like, it just kind of processes and turns in like all the moisture and the juice from the berries is just sucked out from the sugar, and it just creates a syrup, and then you just kind of strain out any of the solids, and you got really good syrup out of it. But I am gonna have to end up cooking it because I guess I didn't kill off all the bugs and some stuff. When I look at the jar in the fridge, there are a couple like little bitty, I guess, like fruit fly maggots that have like climbed up on the side of the jar. But since it's in the refrigerator, like, they haven't moved in days or whatever. So I think they've died in the fridge now too. But I'm still gonna have to like heat it up, even though I didn't want to. So I'm gonna have to add some water to it and all that as well. Calcium. Yeah. I'm gonna do fresh dirt next year too. This year I just did recycled dirt in those um, basket, the cloth pots or whatever that you guys can see in the up there in the corner of the screen, and then I just put some stuff in the dirt after I like solarized my garden over the last year with the pond liner over it and everything. Oh, no blended eggshell. Oh my goodness, puppy.
I was wondering when chat was going to realize, like, who's lurking and who's actually watching.
Right.
I hear something out there. I hear somebody moving.
Yep.
So does he. That's what he's looking at. Who is that?
See, yeah, it's funny. So, yeah, the pot that the cucumbers are in growing up in the trellis area that's the same dirt that I grew cucumbers in last year, and then same with the pepper plant, like same pot I grew peppers in last year, and with the basil too. So that might be why the plants are a little bit on the smaller side as well, because well, all the nutrients that those plants need have been, well, not all the nutrients that those plants need, but a good portion of the nutrients that those plants need have already been used by a previous plant. And so I need to add more fresh dirt.
Yeah.
Add some compost, some fertilizer.
Nano.
I haven't fertilized it all this year either. I've just used normal just water. So maybe use a little fertilizer too. That might help. Nano Aquarium Guy, Craig's
Hi, Riley.
Catfish Cave. I just picked chocos up and banana passion fruits. I don't know what any of that stuff is.
So last Monday, or this past Monday, I decided to set up the shrimp rack, which that shelf was surprisingly frustrating. It's the $60 shelf from Home Depot. The kind where it's got those like clamshell, like shelf spacer stopper things. Oh my gosh! Okay,
Yep.
you're too big to just be.
I have a couple of those, and I was putting smaller
yeah.
tanks on those for a while. Those are frustrating. Yeah.
Trying to like use a rubber mallet to like, dink it in, and then the clamshell thing would separate and then slide down with it, and you're like, dang it! So you had to like take it all off and like do it again.
Yep. Or you think you had them all aligned and one was like lower than the other, and so you're like, why won't it fit? And you're like, dang it! So then you got to hammer all the other ones off.
Yep.
To get it up high enough to readjust that one. Yep.
But we finally got it all. And if that wasn't enough, if I wasn't already tired and frustrated enough from that, I decided to repot all of my plants, all my house plants. Let me
see. Here's the thing, Craig. The thing about these racks, they are perfectly fine when the tank is like over the edge, like because the edge supports are super strong with that like Z figuration they have. When you try to put a tank like in the middle of it, it does kind of give a little, but even so, those bars are super strong as well. I have stood on these supports. I have this, on there, and it's in the middle. It's been like dropped down a little bit, and but that's why I have it in the middle. But it's perfectly fine, and it's good and strong, though it is a little bit like, but yeah.
So these are all the plants that I repotted.
Oh, nice.
There's my Monstera that's missing. This was the first one I repotted, and yes, it's leaning. I know. It was the first one, okay?
No, it's okay because it's leaning away from the window, so it eventually will grow, into the light.
That's the plan. And then this is the pothos that was in here for a while, and my mom moved it to the kitchen window, and it got pretty big. So I put it in a bigger pot. These two aloes were actually also in my kitchen window, but they were from one aloe plant. So the mother plant is outside because it kind of grew like this. So these are the two babies. That's how long. So I think aloes put off one baby a year. So
I don't know. My aloe plant has so many little babies on it.
I never
separated them
a while ago.
I need do that too.
And then these are my 2 Petco plants. There's that little pink one that's been in my windowsill in my kitchen, and then this one that was over here in that little glass bowl. So yeah, so far they're all doing good.
See,
Nobody's turned around.
I have my big aloe plant actually in my front yard because people say not to put aloe in direct light, but if you do keep it, well watered and all that, you can actually put it outside as long as it doesn't get sunlight all day. You can do that. Just like any other succulent, it will get discolored. It won't be that same bright green. Like right now, mine outside is kind of like a grayish color. And sometimes the tips even turn kind of a little bit of a reddish, which is really, really cool. And, but yeah, with to get those colors with all those succulents and stuff where you see the really rare colors and all that, you have to sun stress your succulents by
we had
putting them outside.
We had a sundew at Marine Solutions. I think you've seen it a couple times. We had it directly under a refugium light, and it was bright red. Bright red. We baked that thing. But so I was a little worried. So these 4 on either side, I looked up those plants to find out what soil mix, because I actually did mix. I did a soil mix. So I got the organic potting soil. I got perlite, and I think I kind of messed up because I didn't really deeply research before I bought the stuff because I was kind of crunched on time. I got what is it, sphagnum moss? Yeah. And so I did a mix. I did 4 parts the potting mix to 1 part perlite to 1 part sphagnum moss. And then after really researching it, especially this one, it said to use coconut chips or bark chips. So I'm like, I might have messed up.
You can get orchid mix.
Or orchid mix, yeah.
Yeah. So
I was like, did I mess up? Am I about to kill my plants?
Well, no, not necessarily.
As long as I don't overwater, I guess.
The pothos and the monstera and the little pig plant all the way over on the edge should be perfectly fine with just any standard indoor tropical plant mix that you can buy at the Home Depot or whatever sort of home goods store you have. And the aloe should go in some sort of cactus mix, or the cactus or citrus mix. And then, but it'll be fine in the indoor tropical mix as well. You just want to make sure that you water it a little bit less because it doesn't have as much drainage.
Yeah.
And then I'm not really sure about that purple leafed leathery plant because I've never had that before, but I have had another plant that they talked about doing some sort of mix like that. And so I did have orchid bark already. And so I took my indoor potting mix and a little bit of perlite, an extra perlite, and then I took 50% of that orchid bark potting mix too, and just mixed all that together and just kind of created something like that. Purple, no, that's definitely not basil.
No, I had looked it up. I don't know if I have a picture of the tag. I should have kept it. I think I think what happened is that the dogs took off with it in the backyard as I was repotting them, so it's probably out in my backyard somewhere. Because it was attached to a piece of cork, so they wanted the cork.
No. Well, really, in water, you want everything to kind of at least dry up on the top layer before
I know
you
about
water
the aloe.
it again.
I know about that, and I did buy fresh succulent soil for the aloe.
Yeah, but no, I do need to separate all the babies off my aloe because, well, there's just a ton of them in that pot. I just had it potted really nicely, and it doesn't really look so nice anymore, which is another reason why I do need to repot it. But when I was like super into all my succulents, I was like putting them in all these like fancy pots. And then after putting like the dirt, I put like an accent layer of like rocks on top to just like hide the dirt. Because I mean, just having the brown dirt just doesn't really highlight the succulent so much. So you put like a layer of like black rocks or white rocks or natural stone, whatever, on the top layer of rocks. And then whenever you're watering, it does help the water spread out and evenly moisten the soil better. So it is kind of better for the roots of the succulents, because they tend to be like right there on the surface and just very thin roots and all that. And then yeah, it just highlights the succulents. Like I'm sure you guys can even tell what I'm talking about, because like when you look up succulents, a lot of the times they do that. Like, gosh, I just search succulent on Google search and hit images, and you get this sort of thing.
Oh, maybe I just looked up the philodendron. Maybe I didn't look up the other one.
With the little stone arrangements. It's nice. Or you can do like moss. But the problem with like moss is, I mean, these like the Pearl von Nuremberg, that's this purple one on either side, and I cannot remember what these like 3 different ones here are. And then like this is like a type of sedum or something like that. Some of these can handle a little bit more moisture than others, but generally like moss likes more moisture areas but then like succulents, but then they do like the same sort of kind of acidic soil. But then like this one's really nice with the little like lava rock stones.
Sorry, I'm looking through my search history to see if I can find it, but it's probably been a while.
I topset the rocks too, Danny. The dirt looks ugly under an amazing plant. Yeah, right. Unless you're going for like that natural look or whatever.
I realized I'm still screen sharing, and I was like, oh god, which tab am I on? Am I showing my search history? I feel like you would have told me, though.
I'm not
anything.
Eduardo, I am not saying that you don't know what you're talking about with plants or whatever. It's just, it's essential to let your plants, indoor plants, have at least that top layer dry out, because at least here in Missouri, like it's really, really humid and all that stuff. And so those indoor plants can very easily get, root rot. And so in general, as far as plants go indoors, I like to tell people to always water a little bit less than what you think you should. Because outdoors, gosh, you just want to like pretty much just water all the time. But indoors, like, yeah. Did you get a haircut today? Wow, you're a little late to the party. Yes, I did, Craig. About a month and a half ago, I friggin' donated all my hair to Wigs for Kids, but I haven't gotten a haircut since. It's growing out a little bit now. I'm over here again. Changing sides all the time. Freaking Craig is a succulent genius.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, remember that one stream I brought up? I'm like, do they even have cactuses in Australia? I'd never even seen Craig's yard before. To know that he's like the cactus king.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god.
If you lived in Australia, you could have your cactuses freaking outside all year round, man. That I would love to have that. But see, I can do succulents very well, but I struggle with keeping them alive over winter. And I bought all these really cool succulents, and they were awesome. and I was able to keep probably about 50% of them alive over winter and continue to live. And then, I still have some of them now. I really need to trim this guy up. I've been wanting to repot this guy for a little bit because, it's fully crazy. I'm just kind of deciding if I want to put each one in its own like little bitty pot, or kind of repot it like I did again this time, just with all the heads in the same pot again. But I feel like the heads would get bigger if I put them in each of their own individual pots, so that the roots weren't always growing together. So I don't know.
Oh,
chop them, Danny.
philodendron.
Oh, I know I need to chop them. I know
Yeah,
I need to.
it's a sun red philodendron. Is that thick, leathery one?
Oh yeah, it is
Yeah,
a
sun red.
philodendron.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Nice.
Philodendron solemn hybrid.
So, yeah, that'll kind of grow like one leaf this way and one leaf that way, and kind of do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can't keep land plants alive for long. I either overwater or underwater. Yeah, and that can be a serious problem, It's kind of hard to find the right balance, And that's where I struggled with succulents at first, actually, because I grew up gardening and growing all these different plants outside. That was just like, it's if it's hot outside and it hasn't rained, you go out and you water. If it rained yesterday, you can decide you can water, but you don't have to. And there's different sorts of things like that. But I was trying to do succulents indoors and all that stuff, and I was just like overwatering like crazy, and I ended up killing so many different plants just by overwatering them. Oh wow, so the leaves eventually kind of turn green.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's the philodendron.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to try one of those smart pots that tell you if you need to water or not, depending on the plant. Those are cool. And I think the fact that those even exist is a really awesome idea.
I think there's an app, if you can't afford the actual like thing, where you can like put profiles of all your plants and it'll actually send you push notifications like time to water or
right.
Yeah.
But the thing about the problem with that is there's too many factors that can human factors that can be adjusted to where like you might pack the soil too tight to where like it holds water a lot more and like doesn't drain as much. Yeah. And there's lots of these different things depending on and how much light you use and all that stuff. Whereas like these smart pots have like all these sensors built in to where it's like detecting the moisture in the soil and all that stuff to where it's just like, okay, this plant needs water, like, and all the other stuff. That's really, really cool. And those apps are, they're good, but yeah, you gotta just kind of sit there and like really toy with it and practice. Start with some easier plants and work your way up. Aloe vera is a really easy succulent to start with. It's pretty darn forgiving. And then, pothos is probably the most forgiving indoor plant. Mm-hmm. Just pretty much find anywhere in your house that gets some sort of light and just leave it there and just water it like once a week and it'll grow. It doesn't really need a lot of light, but the thing it doesn't like is moving around and all that stuff. So you'll end up killing it by trying to like help it find like the perfect spot in your house. So just
leave it and let it adjust.
Put it somewhere and let it adjust. Yeah.
Like corals, they love stability.
And I'm sure I can water just how much water before it drowns. Yeah.
So what's funny is that I've seen TikToks lately of succulent keepers, and they're like, "Don't make sure you don't overwater your succulent." And I know what they mean when they say that, like, don't water it too frequently because, like you said, you're supposed to let it completely dry out. But it shows them like literally having a bucket and they just fully submerge the whole succulent in the pot, and then they take it out, let the excess drain, and then you set it on the thing. Like,
Yeah.
soak that shit, and then okay, now you can dry out.
Yeah. And that's actually a really great way to water your succulents and your cactus. That's a great way to water your orchids too. Like, because those orchids have those pots that have all the holes in them. So you just take the whole orchid and you just get like a bucket
you
of water and
waterboard
just
it.
fill it up to the right level, and you just dip it in, just put the whole thing in the water and just let it soak there for a minute or two, and then just pull the whole thing back out.
You do the ancient. You do the not the ancient. You do the old witch test. You dunk that bitch.
Right. If it floats, it's a witch. If it doesn't float, well, at least you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, bottom watering is the best. Yeah, my
Yep.
old coworker would call it butt chugging. She's
Yep.
like, I love you butt chug it.
I mean, really, that's the best way to water any plant. If we have to water from the top with, our plants outdoors and stuff like that, because, well, unless you have like an irrigation system or something like that, there's no way to just put the water into the ground. You have to water from the top. But the best thing you can do is get one of those like soaker hoses that just like the water just like soaks out of the hose body, and it just puts water on the ground, and it just soaks right into the ground that way, versus like spraying water everywhere, because it's not so much that the water on the plant is damaging, but it can be for some plants depending on how hot it is outside. But it's more that dirt from the ground will splash up onto the plants, and that will cause disease and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, water on leaves cause rot and high humidity. Yeah. You don't want high humidity high enough to where droplets are forming on the leaves. That reminds me, I actually do have a sensor thing for moisture content in soil. I forgot it's in my basement. I need to grab it.
Yep.
Yeah, get you one of those little probe things. You stick it in the dirt and it'll tell you how moist it is.
Yeah. You can do that. There are pots that are actually made where you can like add water to like a little plate on the bottom, and it'll like soak the water up from the top.
I think my sister does the wood chopstick trick. You stick a wood dowel or a wood chopstick in the dirt, and if you lift it up and if it comes out clean, then you need a water. Or like the wood will soak up water, and you'll see like where the moisture is at, like how deep the moisture is.
Yeah, you can do that. Or you can just stick your finger in it.
Yeah. My nail beds were so freaking dirty after mixing that soil. Holy crap.
Yep.
That's the trick, Gina. Yep. But yeah, like in my cuticles, like I was expecting it under my nails, but like in my cuticles.
Oh
like,
yeah, all in there, all in there.
Like the whole, like
in
the next
your
few days,
like the creases of your knuckles.
So the creases like didn't bother me that much, but like for days I was just picking at my nails trying to get all this freaking dirt out.
Yep. Yep.
And
that's the gardener's life.
And I also learned
good for you.
If you're planning on repotting your plants, and if like the bulk of them take a certain mixture, the same mixture type or mixture ratio, pre-mix that shit in a large tote. Like I was doing it pot by pot, and it was obnoxious as fuck. Like, it was awful.
That's why I just buy
kneeling on my concrete slab back patio. Like my back was hurting.
That's why I just buy pre-mixed stuff most of the time.
I did not pre-plan that, and I definitely regretted it. Pre-plan that shit.
Unless it's supposed to, they can take water every day. Not inside my house.
Wet plants cause gnats. Yes.
Not inside my house. Oh my god. If I bring my lemon tree inside and I put it in my closet, even with the fan on it, if I watered that thing every day, it would die. It would
So
get
I have a
so
question.
bad of root rot. Oh my gosh. Like,
I don't know if it's necessarily for Craig because I don't know if Australia water treatment is the same as in America. But so you know how succulents you're not supposed to use tap water because it's too high in nutrients and it'll burn the roots.
all
And
the
you're supposed to,
minerals and all that
yeah.
stuff. Yep.
So you're supposed to use like
Spring water.
spring water. What is like not distilled
Drinking water.
drinking water. Yeah. So could you use tap water conditioner in tap water? Or is there still more minerals behind that would
To like reduce the heavy minerals. I mean, I'm sure that'd be better than normal tap water. This like I just use my fish tank water because that's probably already kind of demineralized in all different ways or whatever. Like I use fish tank water to water all my indoor plants.
Like, can I use Seachem Prime or Safe? To treat the water and then water the aloe.
It's definitely better than not doing it, I would think.
I don't drink water.
I don't drink water.
Yeah, I need to. So I only ask because I do have an RO, but it's leaking, so I have it turned off right now. Like the faucet, I have a faucet attachment in my sink, and that part's leaking. I think I just need to change my my resin and my filter things. Anyway,
all your media. That's the word.
The media and the filters. Well, it's the specific. It's the one on top. I forget what it's called. But anyway, yeah. I think I just need to change those because I think it's just causing too much. I think they're just full. The filters are full, and it's causing too much resistance.
Now you wouldn't want to use like just straight RO water, because you're just like in your fish tank or whatever.
Membrane.
Like
membrane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, just like in your fish tank, you wouldn't want to use straight RO water. You want to remineralize it at least a little bit. That's why they say to use like spring water or the stuff that's labeled as drinking water because it has some minerals in there
Purified.
for taste and it's purified, but it doesn't have a lot of minerals and it doesn't have any chlorine or anything in there because it's already been like purified and stuff like that. So
my tap water pH is 9.0. I just tested mine at the house and it was like 8.0 coming out of the tap.
What's interesting is when I test it out of the tap, when it's coming out, it'll come out of 8 or something like that to a high 8. Whereas after I let it sit for a while, it comes out more around a 7 to 7.5.
Yeah, I tested it right after I filled my 2 10-gallon new Neo breeding tanks. I tested the water and it was coming out right at 8.0. I hadn't put the catappa leaves. I hadn't put the botanicals in yet. So I actually meant to grab water samples and test them on stream right now to see where my cycle is at.
Dixon Designs, thanks for joining us. But yeah,
Juanita, hello.
My houseplants are looking so good since I started my aquariums and have been watering with tank water. They've never looked so good. I know, right? Whenever I'm doing big water changes and all that stuff too, I'm running with buckets outside to go water my blueberries and water everything because it's just nothing is better for plants than fish tank water. It's got the fish emulsion fertilizer built right into it. And especially if you really get down and you do that gravel vac stuff and you get all that really nasty goo out. Oh, man.
Natural fish poop fertilizer.
definitely water your plants with that. Like,
Oh my
I
God,
always
Jay.
keep a little like spray bottle full of just this nasty fish tank water so I can shake it up and just water like my indoor plants with it.
Jay, you're cracking me up. So there you go. I use regular tap water for orchids. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orchids definitely, let's see, orchids want a very low mineral water because orchids in the wild are, they're an air plant more or less. They grow on the sides of trees and their roots just get mixed all in with the bark on the tree. And so they don't necessarily get a super bright amount of light. They get kind of more of an indirect light coming through the canopy. And then they don't get directly rained on or anything like that at all. They have the moisture that comes down off the side of the tree, and they soak that up, and they soak up the moisture in the air as well, because they have both air roots and then the roots that attach to the tree. So for orchids, you really want to use like, well, the best thing is to just collect rainwater for them, or use your fish tank water, or drinking water, spring water. You could even actually use just distilled water for those, or RODI water. But yeah, really, really low mineral content for those. Same with like your carnivorous plants, because those guys grow in like bogs and stuff like that, where the water is just like really low mineral and even kind of acidic and all that too.
Yeah, Silver says that, yeah, so condensate water, so distilled.
Yeah.
Because they would be watered from condensation under a canopy. That makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. Greg, I have a YouTube channel. I just put out shorts. Well, there
Let's
you
go
go,
grab that
Richard.
link. Where is he? On your side?
Yep. He's on.
He's on my side?
Yeah, looks like he's
I'm
on
going.
your side.
I'm going. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go snatch it up. Go with the flow. Go to channel. Bink.
Copy. Oh, I also remember I talked about it last week, how I got this 29-gallon tank, and how I thought it didn't have a bottom. One of the pieces that I thought was part of the lid was actually the frame that goes around the bottom. It just like came off or whatever, I guess, when she was moving the tank or something like that, to where she just kept it with the lid. To where, like, yeah, I put it on. So I'm debating whether I'm just gonna, leave it loose or whatever, or if I should just go ahead and like add a little like strip of silicone down and go ahead and silicone it back onto the bottom. I don't really know if it actually matters or not.
So I'm still trying to decide what 2 types of shrimp I want to start with first. Obviously, one of whatever Lady Diane has. I forget. Is it the orange and cherries?
She doesn't have the yellow ones anymore. I guess
Okay.
apparently somebody else is doing those. I know she has jades and cherries, I think.
Oh, maybe I'll start with those 2 then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was looking at the Garden of Eaters channel, kind of figure out the difference between a lot of those that look the same, like the Blue Dreams and the what is it, Blue Velvets, Green Jades and Emeralds. I think I really like the Emeralds rather than the Green Jades.
Yeah.
They're more of a solid.
Yeah, some of the colors are super similar, but it also is, it's their genetics that are kind of important. I'm not super fluent in shrimp genetics.
Yeah.
But I know like the Blue Dreams are closely related to red ones. They have like the like the black what is it? It's not the Black Widows, or it's like the blood. I can't remember what the name is, but they're like a blood red color. And
The Bloody
so
Marys?
the Blood Marys, yeah. So they're the Bloody Marys are like just like right here in their genetics, just like super close.
There
and
we go.
Bloody Marys and another one were like bred to get the blue ones, and so sometimes your blue velvets, you might all of a sudden get like a Bloody Mary baby, or like a dark red one coming out of it, or like a clear one that comes out of it.
Blue Dreams come from reds. Blue Diamonds come from chocolates.
Right.
Ooh. Look for Richard's green jades. He has trillions of shrimp.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him once I need like fresh blood for my colony.
Yep.
But I'll start with Lady Diane's.
But see, I always wondered though, like, what if you took Blue Dreams and Blue Diamonds and put them in the same tank?
They might revert back to wilds because they're not from the same genetic line.
Well, right. I'm sure they would eventually kind of revert back to wild, but would you end up with like some like super blue, or
I don't know.
Or would they in fact be like so just screwed up that you would just all of a sudden just get chocolates and reds and whatever else?
That's a question for Grant. Grant would know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Garden of Eden Grant.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. But for those of you that don't, yeah, Garden of Eden.
They would throw wilds, yeah. So yeah, they would revert back.
Emeralds are much nicer, though they can look very dark sometimes and not so green.
And that's okay. I still plan on keeping my 10-gallon Skittles tank with all of my Steven member plants as like kind of my cull/reject tank. Like that's where all the culls are gonna go. Is into that tank.
Grant and Shelby are amazing. Yes, they are
amazing.
Yep.
Their setup is wild. Like they did the talk at the Maasai meeting whenever they were in St. Louis last summer, and oh my god, I never realized like their background when they stream, those racks, their whole house looks like that. Like their whole house is filled with those racks, and it's insane.
Well, yeah, because they have all this variety and they breed them and they sell them. Like, they have to have that. Like, their whole house is their breeding project.
It's amazing. Like, I'm just oh my god, Nathan would never let me do that.
Oh man,
Nathan would never.
But yeah, in order to do what they do on the level that they do, you would have to have that.
Since Richard is here and he's kind of our current shrimp expert, yes, their house is awesome. I know, it's amazing. Richard, I have a question for you. What's the lowest temperature that you let your shrimp tanks get? So I know that it's not necessarily like you shouldn't really have a heater with them because it'll increase the speed of growth and all that stuff and then shorten their lifespan. But how cold? Because I discovered I have a vent kind of caddy corner for my current rack, so that bottom tank gets pretty cold. I need to know if I need to like cover half that vent or something. Oh, I do know because they in Grant's presentation he had pictures of every room in his house and it is crazy. Neocaridina. Sorry, I should have specified.
Yeah. I think probably 68 degrees would be the lowest that they should get to, but I mean, I've kept them in the low 70s.
Like between those two tanks on the bottom, like you can feel a difference. Like it is a noticeable difference between the two. So I think I might have to like cover half that vent. It's between 65 and 70s. Okay. I'll have to dip my digital thermometer in there and see where it's at.
GLB Aquatics, I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, that was
Today.
Eduardo. That was Eduardo answering, but I'll wait. I'll still note that, but I'm gonna wait for Richard to answer. GRB,
Yeah.
hello. They come from Cold Creeks, yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine, even if it feels a little cool to the
Neos
touch.
can go down into the 40s. Oh, dang.
I mean,
maybe
yeah,
I
they can be kept really cold, but you don't have to worry about it being cold.
Like maybe I'll just one tank will breed slower than the other. Then
I wouldn't.
because
it would. So you could always rotate the shrimp, you know.
Right? Oh my god, I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting there catching little tiny microscopic babies out. No, that's the point of each individual tank is not to crossbreed.
Well, right. So it's just every so often you just pull the rack out and just rotate it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Easy. Simple. Why didn't I think of that? No! Eduardo, no, stay. I'm sorry.
Man, I get how he's feeling.
I'm sorry.
We want you to be here, Eduardo. We want you to be here.
I want you to be here. I just want to make sure my shrimp don't die. I'm sorry.
She was asking a specific person and then you answered. But I've been in the same exact situation before where somebody was asking somebody else a question and then I answered and then, yeah, I felt like they were snapping at me or something like that. But we were not. No, you're good. Please stay.
Please stay. I'm sorry.
I said I was going to. We like your advice.
I said I would still keep that in mind, like 65 to 70. I mean, because my next question was going to be what's optimal breeding temperature, also. So survival temperature down to the 40s, breeding temperature.
If you want them, if you want them to breed, you want to bring
probably
them up
closer to like
into
65,
the 70s.
Yeah, 65, 70.
If you want them to, friggin' live longer, keep them in lower temperatures. They can be down into the 40s, even, below freezing sometimes, but I wouldn't keep them at that temperature, Yeah. But, 60s.
65 to 70. Okay, cool. So I will aim for 65 to 70, but I won't freak out if it drops below 65. Okay.
I've just divided and planted seeds on my umbrella palm. Have placed heaps of little new shoots growing out of my fish tanks. All right. I have I have a castor plant that's growing pretty good outside now. I had started a couple seeds and tried to start them in little pots outside, but right when they were going to pop, something dug them up and probably ate sprouts or whatever. So I started a seed inside and let it pop and, put it outside. And now it's seemed to be growing pretty good. I love the way they grow. They grow really nice and big. And my customer that gave me the beans a couple of years ago, gave me some more, gave me like a whole thing of the flour, so I'm not sure how many beans are actually on there. Oh, I got cat hair blowing on my face. Sorry, guys. I'm rubbing all on my face here. But yeah, I love the way it looks, and it helps deter some different animals and all that. So next year I might start a whole bunch of them and kind of line my fence with them and make them look really nice, because they look really cool when they're fully breed, like blooming out and all that.
Yeah.
Really interesting looking flowers here. They grow like that, and then the beans grow inside.
What
and
is
then
that?
It's the castor plant.
Oh.
So you can also illegally extract ricin from the beans, which is like the poison that they used in Breaking Bad to kill the guy undetected or whatever. But this is what the beans look like. They look really, really cool. Definitely don't eat them, because it's like the world's most poisonous plant. But they do get really nice and tall, kind of grow like trees, and then they have these really, really cool flowers that bloom with the nice yellow,
really cool.
And then they get the big red seed pods that hold all the beans. And so yeah, one of my customers gave me basically this whole thing full of beans, and though it's already brown like that.
So what do you eat the beans, or the beans?
No, do not eat the beans.
Okay.
Do not eat the beans. Do not eat the plants. Do not eat any part of it. The whole thing is poisonous.
Okay, so what are you planning on doing with it?
But you can use the beans, to make castor oil.
Oh, okay.
Which you can use for your hair. You can use for your car. You can use for a lot of different things. And then also the plant itself, being as poisonous as it is or whatever, it can be just a deterrent for a lot of different animals as well. I know it works with deer and some other things, so we'll see if maybe it helps keep some of the cats away and all that.
Is that crazy toxic plant in Florida that you can't even stand under because if the sap falls on you, you can get sick?
No, that is hogweed.
Oh.
And that is like a super, not necessarily poisonous. I think it might be poisonous too, but it's a different type of toxin in that, to where you can be friggin' flying on an ATV and have it whack you in the face, and you'll be blind. You can go blind in like 5 minutes or less.
Ugh. Florida's scary.
Yeah. But it grows in a lot of different places, actually. Like, that is some scary, scary stuff. Also, it's cow parsnip is the other name for it.
I thought cow parsnip was like a look-alike.
So the leaves, it does kind of look similar to the castor plant in a way, but it also looks like almost like a giant yarrow or a giant friggin' valerian plant. It's actually kind of pretty looking, but yeah, if you get whacked in the face by this stuff, like,
Gina, you're talking about a tree. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought I didn't remember if it was like a tall plant or a tree. Yeah. Ooh, that's a blister.
Yeah, so that's what happens if you touch it and all that stuff.
Gross.
And then you can have it freaking whack you in the face.
Yeah, I think there's a tree that if the sap falls on you,
but
you can get really sick.
It's tall like a tree.
Yeah.
So
let me go to Google really quick. Hold on. Where's my tab? There it is. Toxic tree in Florida. Manchineel? Hold on, I'm trying. Here we go.
Oh. Okay. It's a scary tropical tree that can kill you, the manchineel. Huh. That's scary.
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, aka the tree of death.
That's probably the friggin' tree that Adam and Eve ate from.
Right. Well, that Eve ate from. Adam didn't eat it. Did he? No, they did. Yeah, she gave it to him. That's right. Sorry. You right. My bad. I'm just a silly goose today. Don't listen to me.
Man. Oh my goodness. So,
What happened?
friggin' the other day, so I was talking about how my tarantula had molted and how I put it in this little like container thing here. Well, I have two different little plastic containers right here next to my like on my desk or whatever. One I use to kind of water some of my little bitty indoor plants. It's just I just get a little bit of fish tank water and do that. Well, the other day I came in here to do that and I just grabbed a little thing and after watering one of my plants or whatever, I was just like, wait a minute. That was the one that had the tarantula skin in it, I think. And so I came over and grabbed the other one, and sure enough, it was empty too. So I'm like, oh no.
Oh.
So it was in this fish tank. And so luckily it was like just sitting there like floating on top or whatever. It wasn't like submerged or anything. They have like with all the little hairs and everything, they're hydrophobic.
Yeah.
So it was just floating on top. So all I had to do was reach in there with some tweezers and pull it back out.
Oh, well, at least
I was just like, oh my God.
I'm surprised the fish didn't come up and like eat it.
Yeah. Luckily the lights were off and everything, and so like the fish were like unaware. But yeah, I had to sit there like with a flashlight. I'm like, where is it? I'm like, oh, there it is, floating on the top.
I found it. Gabriel's glass boxes. Hello, hello.
Lurking and working. Castor trees grow wild here. Yeah, I mean, they are like kind of like semi-perennial. They're not like a true perennial. Well, actually, I guess all perennials kind of act in the same way, except the bulb plants, where they go and then they get fertilized and then they drop their seeds and then the seeds grow again the next year. And so I'm hoping that it'll do the same thing here. I'm going to collect some of the seeds for sure, and then also just leave some to just kind of grow and naturally drop. And hopefully I get a nice little area where I get a nice like section of castor plants. That'd be nice. What are you doing? Hey, quit chewing on the plastic bag.
Uh-oh.
I should have thrown that away anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna put I think I decided I'm gonna put the 29-gallon long in my bedroom, and then I'll have that 20 long in there to do something else with. And then also, yeah, you're doing your little shrimp project.
Yeah.
I have a couple extra 10 gallons some around here too, I think, that if you wanted one or two.
I'll do it. Yeah, I was going to try to buy 2 more 10 gallons before the tank sale ends in about 2 weeks. Yes, yeah. I believe so. I think our next ad set is exactly 2 weeks away.
How's your PRS guitar going, Danny? It's been sitting in a box for a good long time. You know?
I feel that.
I just saw my tarantula sitting in a cool area. I'm going to snap a picture really
So it's going about as well as my little mini raised gardening bed that's still sitting here in a box. Not put together.
Yeah. Give that picture a moment to upload onto Google Photos. Backup complete. There we go. All right. That's what's kind of cool about having like, you know, Google and all that stuff connected to everything. Is I can literally just take a picture and pull it right up and share it on the stream.
So have you even tuned it yet? The guitar?
Oh, my guitar's been tuned. I've had my Paul Reed Smith guitar for over a decade now. I bought that when I got back from Iraq, and that's the guitar I used in all my parody videos and stuff like that.
Well, whatever one GRB was talking about, your PRS guitar, isn't that new
Yeah.
one that you got?
No, I haven't bought it. That was my Ibanez acoustic electric or whatever. But no, he's just asking how's my guitar going, like if I'm playing or whatever. No, I am not playing.
Like I said, I'm a silly goober today. Don't listen to me.
Yep. So yeah, Tarantula's hanging up on the front, and then I took this picture the other day. I pretty much right after he or she molted, kind of came down onto the plant. So yep, got the blue all the way up to the first segment of legs, which is nice now. Still the orange tiger stripe on the whole body, and then orange on most of the legs, and then a little blue on the little finger pads and claws too. So yeah. Did you know that tarantulas also, pretty much all spiders also produce just a little bit of webbing from the tips of their feet?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So they have claws, they have pads, and they have a little bit of webbing that comes from like the tips of their feet that can help them all climb on everything.
Interesting. Linky is here. Yeah, I just got the Discord notification that I went live.
Yep.
Let's see. Scroll all the way down.
Oh, look, Gina's live, and I'm live on Rumble. Ooh. But nobody ever watches me on the Rumble side.
Yeah, it threw your notification right as we started.
Or if they do watch my Rumble side, I don't think Rumble has a live chat, if I'm not mistaken.
A new meaning to webbed feet. I wonder if Matt's messing with FishFam.link. When is he not messing with it? He's always messing with it.
Right.
Did I buy anything else this week? I feel like I did.
Oh, there is a live chat. I'm going to say something.
Well, I mean, I bought the shrimp rack and stuff. That was technically on Sunday? Saturday? No, it was on Saturday that I bought it. It was right before this stream because we had to that's why we were rushed, is because I had to make it home in time for the stream. Or maybe, no, I think it was Monday. We were rushed because we had to be home in time to get Kane off the bus. That's what it was. That's what it was. So yeah. So technically I got the rack and the tank and everything. And then I got the watch. Oh, remember those D&D dice that I ordered like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago?
Oh yeah.
They're finally shipped. They should be here Monday, so I'll show those next week.
They're finally shipped.
Finally shipped.
Oh man.
It's from an Etsy store, so I mean they're like handmade and made to order and all that stuff. So
I guess my chat doesn't show up from the Rumble side. I said something on Rumble and it doesn't pop up on the Streamyard over here.
Interesting. Even though it's linked, although it's like all streaming through Streamyard.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's something that is just because Rumble's still kind of newish or whatever.
I've never actually been on Rumble before. It looks just like pretty dang similar to YouTube.
Yeah, it doesn't have all the functionality though, because I mean, well, some of those, algorithms and things like that are patented and all that. So they have to try to develop things that are similar, but are also, not the same. But yeah, it's really nice and functional. It doesn't have a stupid algorithm or whatever to like force content down your throat or whatever.
I
You
think it says
can't.
three people are watching, so that's probably me, you, and one other person.
Well, I just disconnected, but that's pretty cool. But so there's a lot of different things you can do on there. And you can pick like recommendations and have it recommend some things for you based off of like stuff that you like. But whenever you go to like your main news feed, it's like showing the most recent stuff posted by all the people that you're actually like subscribed to, not like a whole bunch of stuff that you're like, what is this? Based off of like one video that you watched. It just changes your whole YouTube algorithm.
Hmm.
And then they also don't have they won't demonetize you or anything like that if you say something they don't like, because they have full freedom of speech on there. And I believe Rumble has actually been banned in countries like France and maybe a few other countries, just because those countries want them to put censorship and all that stuff into them, and they refuse to. So they've been like banned in some of these countries. But that's just, that's probably why YouTube doesn't like me. But that's why I keep Rumble around, just in case I say something really stupid. But more people need to get over onto Rumble, because like it gives you the freedom to do a lot of stuff, and you don't have to have like a certain subscriber count or watch hours or anything like that to get monetized. You can just be like instantly monetized as long as there's no copywritten material involved in your stuff. So that is nice. If more people would watch on the Rumble side versus the YouTube side, I'd be getting paid for my live streams already. So that is just what it is. So that's interesting. Think about that, as far as being from the creative aspect, if we could get more people to use a platform such as that, they could make more improvements and all that stuff, because it would have, more money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons.
Yeah.
FishFam.link.
Have I had anything happen at work? Oh, on Sunday, Sunday was Father's Day. Happy late Father's Day to all the dads out there. So it was really funny. It's not, as an outsider, it's funny. We had a teenager drive an old Pontiac up to our store. He came inside and he was shopping. And I'm talking old, and it's probably manual transmission. I don't know if he didn't fully put it in park, or if he didn't put the e-brake on, but it ended up rolling out of its spot into another car in the parking lot. And
he forgot to put the brake on, because it is a manual transmission.
So he parked over here. It rolled into the next aisle.
Oh man.
And we're all and it was kind of a quarter of a way in the main, where you drive to go up and down the aisles to park. And everybody's noticing and everyone's talking about it. Well, he goes to ring out, and we're just like, oh yeah, this car just rolled into another car over there. And he goes, oh, well, good thing I didn't park over there. I was thinking about it. And then he goes outside and he realizes it's his car that rolled. So I don't know if it's actually his car. It was car show quality, an old Pontiac that was really well taken care of, pristine condition. Well, not anymore.
You're talking about like a Firebird or a T-Bird, or
I don't know exactly what it was, but you could just tell it was well taken care of. It did not look rusty at all. It didn't look like an old rust bucket. And so My thought, and this is just me speculating, I think it was probably his dad's car. Like, I don't know. He could be a car guy, but you think a car guy would like anyway, pure
I don't know.
speculation.
I would have a car like that
It's just
if
he
I
was
had a
young
little
though.
bit more money.
He is young, like he looked like 18. Like
Yeah.
17, 18.
Hey, dream car. I don't know.
I don't know, man, but I was just like, I really hope that wasn't his dad's car because he just ran into another car on Father's
Yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I thought that like the cars had been parked next to each other and it kind of rolled forward into the other one, but no, I pulled up the security footage and our front door camera actually did pick it up in the parking lot, and yeah, no, it was over here and rolled backwards into the next aisle.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
What's worse?
And that does almost make me think that maybe it actually wasn't his car though. It probably
Yeah.
was like his dad's or something like that because like I know to pull the handbrake up. Like it's just
Someone who's
happened to pull
not
the handbrake
someone who's not used to
as
driving it every
a
day.
manual car. But yeah, when you're driving an automatic, you don't think about putting your handbrake up because when you put your transmission in park, it locks your transmission and your wheels won't go. The only people that think about that are mechanics because when they are doing like transmission work or work on your drive shaft or things like that, once that releases, the transmission's no longer locked and that truck or whatever else can start rolling and you might be underneath that and you don't want that rolling over you. So, they think about, an actual parking brake versus the transmission lock. But yeah, when you're driving a manual car, you put it in brake, and a lot of people actually tell you to like keep it in gear even to both lock the transmission and keep it in park. But I don't do that because, well, I was never taught to do that in any of the cars when I was learning how to drive a manual car. And then also but there's been a couple times that I've like picked it up from a mechanic, and then I like start the car and take my foot off the clutch, and then the car like tries to jump forward and locks up, and yeah, sure enough, the mechanic left it in gear.
Yeah.
I'm like, who left my car in gear? But they're the ones that are probably actually doing the right thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's
you think they would at least
you're supposed to do. I feel like neutral is good. And yeah, if your parking brake gives out, then your car is going to start rolling. But you got a lot to worry about with your parking brake going out too. I'd rather my parking brake go out than like my transmission go out or something like that, But yeah, like in my driveway, I actually have one little spot where I get right at the top of my driveway, and there's like a little bitty dip to where like that's what I do is like I put it fully in neutral, and I just let my car just kind of naturally fall into that dip, and then I lock it in place and get out. So.
Yeah. What's worse though is that whenever he went out to move it, so this is the car that was parked. Hold on, let me straighten out. So it kind of backed up, so it was kind of catty corner like this. He actually did get in and he tried to pull forward and then he tried to back up. He did it like 4 times. He did it like 4 times, and it's like, oh no. I had Sabrina, the Sabrina who shows up in chat. I had her call the non-emergency number, so the police did come out and kind of got them separated.
Man.
But yeah, that was like right at like when I got there, like within a half an hour of me getting to work, and I was like, cool, this is how my day's starting. This is great. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I parked in my driveway the other day, so I parked behind Kane's wheelchair van. Because it just doesn't get used as often.
Right.
I try to get close to it, and it's always my like I try to get as close as I can without hitting it. Well, the other day I think it was Monday, whenever we went to go to Home Depot to go get the rack. Nathan looks over and he goes, "You know, you don't have to get that close to the van." I was literally, like, I'm like, "Yeah, not anymore. I've hit my achievement. Get as close as you can without touching it.
Yeah,
I've achieved it."
nice.
So yeah.
That's funny because yesterday I pulled up to one of my customers' house, and yeah, he pulled his little car right behind his like utility van that he's converting into a mobile man cave. It's
Mhm.
really awesome, actually. But he pulled up, and he was actually like touching it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, geez, man, like your driveway isn't that small.
What do they call that? The San Francisco stop or something, where you actually bump the car and then you kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man.
Mm.
So luckily, in the long run, the guy ended up being not too bad. But okay, so I pull up in this drive-through at Taco Bell. This happened probably this happened years ago when I was still working at the pet store and stuff, and like he places his order and he's like taking forever to take his order, so I'm just sitting there waiting behind him, like getting impatient, and then he's just like after he takes his order, he just like starts slowly creeping up. And I was like, come on, dude, like move
Mhm.
and let him take my order. Like, let's keep this thing moving
Yeah.
or whatever. And so I quickly placed my order because I always know what I want when I go to Taco Bell because it's always the same thing. So I just placed my order real quick and I'm trying to move up and like the car in front of him moves up and he's just like slowly creeping forward. And I'm just like, come on, dude. So I start getting a little impatient, doing kind of whatever, and I start getting like really close behind him or whatever. I'm like, come on, dude, move. And one time I got just a little too close, and because I was reading his bumper, but he had one of those like hitch
Oh.
the hitch things
Yeah.
out. So I just bumped that the slightest bit, and like then my car backed off, and I'm just like, oh crap, I just tapped him.
Uh-oh.
And then
Uh-oh.
he's like, and then I saw the truck going to park, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh shit.
here we go.
Then a big ass black dude gets out.
You just put your hands up. You're like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
I'm just like, and he gets out, and he's just like looking at the back. I'm like, oh man, did I hit you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, dude. I thought that was like my brakes or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really like, my bad, dude. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
My bad. My bad. My fault. My fault.
I could have been bad
Oh my gosh.
because like I was totally the one in the wrong in that point. I was just being impatient,
Yeah.
but even so, it's just like, come on, dude. Like, quit your creeping. Because especially like in a manual car, like I really hate the people that just creep like that because you can't do that in a manual car.
Yeah.
So it's like it's either go or stop. Like quit going up to the stoplight and stopping, and then I'm gonna creep up another 2 feet and stop, and then creep up another 2 feet and stop, and then creep up and like just get to where you want to go and stop and just wait.
Yeah.
Like there's no point in like creeping forward, especially the people in the front too that are like trying to make the stoplight like go faster than it is. Like creeping forward does nothing, bro.
Yeah. Dude, this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon when I was going to work, I don't know why. The first half of 270, like everybody forgot what the left lane was for. Like everyone just did not just almost like it was opposite day where everyone refused to use the left lane as a passing lane. I had one person come up behind me, they were going faster than me, and they starts tailgating me, and I'm just like, dude, there's a whole left lane. Just go around me. Like,
Yep.
and then what'd he do? He gets in the right lane to pass me. And I was like, what is happening? What is going on? And then a little further forward, I come up because I drive over the speed limit. I'll admit. I won't say exactly. I won't fully incriminate myself and say how much over I go, but I do go over the speed limit. So I was approaching a car, and I was about to get in the left lane, but then he got over in the left lane, almost to like get out of my way so I could pass him. I was like, "No, if you're gonna do that, you move to the right. Like, what are you
Yep.
doing?" And then he
Yeah.
stayed in the left lane. He started cruising in the left lane. I was like, "Oh, okay. This is just
Yep.
nobody knows what the left lane is anymore."
Oh man, yeah. It's like I will be passing people in the cruise lane because they will be cruising in the left lane, and it's just like
Yep.
stop. Like I flip them off every time I get past them too, because like you guys suck. Because it's like that's the way it's supposed to work. The right lane is for when you're going to be like leaving the highway and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The center lane, or it's more than one lane.
Yeah.
That's where you're supposed to kind of cruise at. That's where you're supposed to drive the speed limit. If you're going a little bit over the speed limit, that's when you want to be in the second to the left lane. And then the left lane is when you're passing people.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just be cruising in the left lane. Even if you're going 90 miles an hour, if you got the ability to move over into the next lane.
If the second to left lane is clear, you move over.
Yeah. If you're not passing anybody anymore, you get over because somebody behind you might want to be going 95 versus 90. Like,
yep.
Be courteous to your other speeders,
My rules of the road: go as fast as possible in the slow lane. Now that's dangerous because people entering and exiting the highway.
Yep. Yeah.
You're walking the line.
Or the people you shouldn't just cruise in the right lane because people are entering and exiting. That's where the speed is variable. And that's why you should avoid the right lane as much as possible. You should never pass in the right lane because when you're trying to pass somebody might be trying to enter or exit the highway.
So we're talking about like 4-lane highways.
Yeah.
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 Once it gets down to a 2-lane highway. Yeah, 4 or 5. Man, when I was in Atlanta for Blade Show, they had like a 6 or 7-lane highway. It was nuts.
In freaking India, they have
like, what highway do y'all need? Jesus Christ!
In India, they sometimes have lanes that are like 20-lane highways.
Oh my god, it's nuts!
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel safe. I don't like this. There's too many lanes.
Maryland is notorious for people just parking in the fast lane. The whole left lane of the passing lane is a suggestion here. It's off. Yeah. Well, we got some really dumb people that do that sort of thing too. And just like, I don't know if they're just ignorant or like half-witted or something, or if they're like intentionally be like, I'm gonna drive slow in the left lane because all you people are just speeders and you should drive the speed limit like me. Like
little what do they call those?
Pretentious assholes.
Yeah, that too. Like a vigilante. Like not a vigilante, like a someone who's trying to like help I'm helping the police by helping enforce the law. Like yeah. And those are the ones who usually cause accidents.
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes, like, if I'm already going well over the speed limit and somebody is just, like, getting all up on my ass for no reason, I might slow down a little bit just because, like, dude, like, I'm going fast enough.
Yeah, like, I don't brake check, but I will definitely let off the gas.
Yeah, I'm going fast enough, and I'm going to courteously get out of your way as soon as I'm done passing this asshole. But there's no reason to be on my ass right now.
New Jersey's no left turn thing is hilarious. What? Yes, 3 rights make a left. I'd rather just make a left. Thank you very much. That is insane.
Yeah, there's some crazy laws around. And I guess New Jersey. So New Jersey not only has a whole bunch of one-way streets, now they got a bunch of one ways with no left turns, and
oh my god!
So you gotta do. I mean, that's annoying enough as it is with just one-way streets, how sometimes you have to make 3 right turns and no lefts. But that's awful.
Nuts. That's nuts.
But part of me is not surprised. I feel like New Jersey has some really stupid stuff that happens there.
Oh, when we were in Atlanta, Nathan was making a right turn on red. And I was like, I don't know if that's legal here. He's like, there would be a sign. I'm like, not if it's the law.
Right.
Like, you got to be careful.
And that's what's crazy is, I mean, depending on the cop, like, when it comes to the law, ignorance of the law does not make you innocent of committing such law. But it's up to the police officer to like do that, and so
to give you a warning or
sometimes
a ticket. Yeah,
sometimes you get a cool police officer that's just like, hey, here you can't do that or whatever. But other times you just might get a jerk that's gonna give
depends on how many Karen tourists they've already dealt with that day.
Yeah. Right.
I think we were going to the aquarium, so a lot of tourists in the area and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because there's some areas too, like even around here in like different parts of St. Louis, that there's not like posted speed limits, but every so often there might be a sign that says the speed limit is 20, except where posted.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you're just supposed to assume that the speed limit is 20 unless you see a speed limit sign that says something else.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can get kind of lost. And sometimes you might think that it's faster, and it's really not. And then you get pulled over. So.
Yeah. That's why I'm really glad Google Maps is really up their ante and like really updated their speed. Like if you have Google Maps on, it'll tell you this current speed limit in most areas.
And then there's some states that like, I'm not sure if I think North Dakota, I don't think they have posted speed limits in most areas. I think they just have like speed minimums. And even speed limits are just like suggestions in some different areas too.
Right.
And it's like, as long as you're not the car at the front of the speeding group of cars, then you're not the one that's going to get pulled over.
Don't be the front first.
Don't be the fastest person. Yeah. Don't be the fastest and don't be the slowest. Try to be somewhere in the middle.
Well, I mean, if it's a whole chain all going the same speed, don't be the first and don't be the last. Be the guy in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that friggin' drill that they have you run in PE class where you have to like run from the back all the way up to the front. But it's kind of the opposite. You just don't want to be in the front. So you're just like, no, you go fast.
Oh, what I always hate is when I'm passing somebody and they decide to speed up. And I use cruise control. So I'm going a constant speed. Like, well, plus or minus 1 or 2 miles per hour. Because of the hills and stuff. But like I'm going a constant speed and I go to like I'm coming up to pass them, like I get in the left lane to pass them and then they speed up and then they're pacing me. I was like, well, now I'm just gonna wait you out for whenever you doze, when you stop paying attention, you slow down again, or when we come up to the person in front of you who slows you down. Like I'll play this game. It's fine. I'll stay in the left lane.
See, that game is fun, but it's more ridiculous because I've had this happen where like I'll set my cruise and I'll like pull up on somebody and then I'll get full on in front of them, and then all of a sudden they'll wake up or whatever and realize what happened, and they'll like speed way off and get like way up in front of me,
and then you catch up again,
lazy again. You catch up with them,
and
you just been on cruise control the whole time, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna let this person pass me again."
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's like
exactly
ridiculous, man. And then you catch up to them again at the stoplight, and you're just like, what a waste of gas, man.
And you're like, and I'm always like, it's not my fault you can't keep a constant speed. Like,
but it is it's mostly annoying when I'm driving my Schwann's truck, though, because I have to abide by speed limits within a certain limit. If I go 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, I immediately get dinged with like speeding. If I'm going more than 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, longer than like a 2-minute period consecutively, I also get dinged. So there's certain ways that I can like speed a little bit and just kind of slow it back down, though I shouldn't do that anyway. But
They give you a little bit of leeway for passing.
but the thing that sucks is there's a governor that limits me to 65 miles an hour. So sometimes on the highway, you just kind of get stuck behind that person that's just like going a little bit too slow, and you just want to pass them. And so you try to pass them, and then they speed up just a little bit, and then it's like all of a sudden, though I was just going to pass this person relatively quickly and just move back over, now I'm sitting here stuck in the left lane with my foot like all the way on the floor. It's like I can't go any faster. And then it's like I'm trying to pass them, and then I'm approaching that like 2-minute mark. It's like, dang it, now I got to slow back down below 65 miles an hour to reset the trip thing or whatever, so that I don't trip and get a speeding ding, and then try to speed back up to pass this person again. Man, I've had to battle with cars so many times to where eventually I had to just, well, screw it. I had to hit the brakes and get behind them just so that I wouldn't be that much of an asshole just blocking the left lane for everybody else. And so,
there you go.
I wanted to thank you both. A while back, I broke a Madagascar lace plant bowl, and I thought I had to toss it, but you told me to keep it. Happy to say it's doing great, so thanks. Wow. You know, I actually remember that.
I do remember that.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say like 2 years ago or something, but.
Was it that? Wow. I thought it was a couple months ago.
Months ago? I don't know. It feels like it was a long time ago.
You also need to thank Tommy with Silver Creek Aquatics, because I think he was in the chat also giving advice. Yeah, I thought it was whenever I was talking about my Monstera, whenever I initially noticed that black spot on the leaf. I thought it was around that time.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. Time flies sometimes, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint different things that kind of all happen within a period of time. Because gosh, it's hard to believe even that we've had this like YouTube show, Fish and Friends, going for 3 seasons now. Like, this is like, holy crap, we've done 2 full years of live streaming, and like sometimes I look at my memories on my phone, because like I don't have Facebook or anything like that, but Google Photos gives me different memories and things, and it's just like, holy crap, like I did that 5 years ago. It was 5 years ago. Like I thought it was just like 2 or something. Like sometimes it amazes me. Like I forget that I started streaming on YouTube in like 2000, I think. I started getting super active on YouTube in like 2019. And it wasn't until like the pandemic hit and everything started shutting down in like 2020 and all that I actually like started live streaming and stuff like that. And it's just like sometimes I look back and it's like, man, I didn't realize I posted that video 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that lathe bulb has fully recovered.
Yeah. That's awesome. Sorry, we should get back to the subject. Yes, I'm glad it's doing good.
I'm trying to remember what happened. Like, how did you break it? Or I don't know. But that's cool, though. I'm glad to always help in any way I can. And that's why I started YouTube and streaming and posting videos and all that in the first place, was to just try to help people, help my customers and all that, and just help other people in general, because I realized that, I actually had some knowledge out there that some people wanted. And I pretty much shared all that I can now. And so that's why I don't post any, videos and all that, because I don't like to just repost the same thing every couple months or so, to just post an updated video on, how to cycle a fish tank or whatever, There's
Right.
plenty of other videos out there for that. So now I just post fun stuff whenever I feel like it. Months ago, I broke it while using the gravel. Oh, yeah. You stabbed it with the gravel vac and it kind of broke or whatever. Well, man, I'm really glad that recovered for you.
Yes.
Because, yeah, that can be, kind of nerve-wracking or whatever when you get something that's like really, really nice and then you end up breaking it.
Yeah. Months ago, I broke it while using a gravel vac.
Yep.
Sorry, did you already read it? I'm sorry.
I did.
I'm sorry. I pulled a U.
Yeah, or maybe it was the tweezer things. Now I only use my hands on pull. Lesson learned. Yeah, I use my hands to, whenever I'm like plating bulbs, I use my hands for the most part. But then sometimes, if a couple of those like little roots are kind of like sticking up, I'll like use the tweezers to kind of push those into the dirt or the substrate, whatever. Yeah. I'm because I have those 2 lilies out in my pond. Which, let's see, can I? No. There, I can pull us to the side. Yeah. So you got my lily right there in the middle of the pond. The one in the middle is doing so much better than the one on the right side because, well, the one on the right side keeps getting kind of all those the water lettuce collecting all around it. And then that section of the pond just doesn't quite get as much sun as the bigger section on the right and the center does. But that's just because of the way that the sun works with the trees and everything around. But I've been thinking, like, this year, for sure, I'm just going to keep them in the pots. But next year, when they start to burst out of the rocks again or whatever from in their little planters, I'm thinking maybe I might actually take them out of the planter box and like permanently put them in the actual rocks of the substrate of the pond itself. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe do it with one and keep the other one in a pot. I don't know. Because the one right in the middle just seems to be doing really well in the pot with the light it gets and all that. And I don't want to necessarily plant it too deep because then it won't grow anymore. I think they can go up to like maybe 3 foot deep or something like that. But they say to plant it between like 1 to 2 foot deep. So I don't want to put them too deep.
Yeah.
I do kind of wonder. I'm gonna split us back this way here. With plant like lotus bulbs and water lily bulbs and stuff like that, I do wonder if they kind of grow like other bulbs and stuff do, like above ground, or like not above ground, but like the in ground, like other lilies and stuff, where they kind of eventually get so big to where you could like split them apart and have like 2. Because that's generally how a lot of those different plants reproduce. They will have like the flower go up and then the flower gets pollinated, but then the flower falls off and then the plant ends up dying and then the bulb just gets like bigger, and then eventually that bulb just, instead of having one plant pop out, it'll have multiple plants pop out. And I was able to separate my elephant ears into multiple different ones. And same with like the cannas, you can break those apart and turn your one canna into multiple cannas and stuff. I wonder if water lilies work the same way. I've never had them long enough to see if they do that. I've had them bloom before. Like this one's blooming really nice. You can see the nice little pink bloom there. But I don't know. I don't know where the bulbs come from. I guess they do split or something like that. I don't know. I'll find out eventually. Eventually, I'll dig that up or open it up and see what happens. I'm going to take some of my stem plants out of the aquarium and into dirt to grow them immersed as backups. Any tips? I have no tips on immersed plants. No tips whatsoever. That is something that I've never tried to do. Well, never mind. Let me correct that. I've tried to do it like one time, and did not do well. I just don't really know how to do that. I know somehow you gotta like keep the dirt like really moist and like put them in like a little mini greenhouse sort of thing to keep the humidity up, because they have to be in like a semi-sealed sort of thing because the humidity has to be really, really high. Because since they are like aquatic or whatever, they will dry out really. You can't just grow them in like a pot, like in a window. You can't do that. They will dry out and just die. So you can maybe grow them in a pot like that if you put like a jar on top or something like that, and make like a little miniature window greenhouse sort of thing like that. But yeah, make sure you cover them up. You can do it in like an aquarium, and I've seen people do immersed growth in an aquarium before, but they put like cellophane on the top and stuff like that, and that's how I tried to do it, but I didn't have a good seal on my cellophane even to where like they were still drying out too much, even though I was trying to like keep it misted every day. I just didn't do a very good job with it. So
yeah, did you say like a plastic water bottle, or a plastic like soda bottle or a water bottle, or like a jar? Like how I had that one plant in that tall glass jar with a cork on the top?
Yeah, you could put, I would say like a mason jar or anything like that would probably be better than like plastic, just because plastic is so lightweight that it can just easily like fall off. Whereas like the glass would, just a little bit of weight on the glass onto the dirt would create a little bit more of a seal, and you'd get a really nice, like better greenhouse effect on that. Or just do like a fish tank. You don't need like a filter or anything like that. And just put like clear cellophane on the top. But yeah, you'd have to like, you'd be going through cellophane because you pretty much have to pull the cellophane off and give it a good mist every day and just reseal it. Because you can't just keep it sealed, because then you might end up with like mold and all that stuff. You have to like readjust the oxygen and everything too. So it seems like way too much work for me. So I just didn't want to keep trying it because I'm very lazy. So my whole fish keeping experience has been just trying to become the laziest fish keeper out there and do like the least amount of water changes, maintenance, and anything like that. So yeah. I always keep my water surface at 75% of the tank, so stems grow up and above the water. Easy to harvest for immersed growth then? Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. I've definitely done that before. Kept the tank water lower so that the stem plants would kind of grow out the top. I get some Java fern growing out the top too. You can do it sometimes with a standard like fish tank lid, because just the fish tank itself just kind of creates a more humid environment. But if you're just doing like a thin layer of water on the bottom, it's not evaporating as much as like, a tank that's like 75% full.
Yeah.
Dang, it's early in the morning over here. Yep. Well, guys, it's 10 o'clock. We are here at the 2-hour mark. And I'm hungry for some more food because I always forget to eat until it's like 7:30. I should eat something really quick and hop on and get ready for the live stream. So I'm going to go eat some stuff. Oh, yeah, Ludwigia Super Red is awesome above the surface for sure. Okay, I have some growing close to the top already. Thanks. You're welcome. Anyway, yep. So we will see you guys next week on another awesome episode of Fish and Friends. I'm going to have to work that day because I'm going to end up with a whole 4-day weekend for 4th of July. So that's going to be great. But I got to work 6 days next week to make up for that. So that's going to be fun. Well.
Fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So long. Thanks for the fishing.